In this video, we're going to explore a custom component that will model in a column pad footing, a column, a base plate, and a cap plate all in a single mouse click. But first, in this example model here, we've set up the grids so that they're in real world coordinates. So the bottom grid level is at 85,495, and we've applied then a Z offset so that the grids work from that point upwards, as you would normally do. When commencing a project, you're typically given the pad footing RL dimension, so the top of pad footing and then the depth of the pad footing. If I bring up a pad footing properties, and we'll do it manually to start with, I'm going to make the top level of the pad footing 400 below that bottom grid line level. So the level is going to be 85,095, and now I need to work out the bottom level. So I need to get a calculator, or if I can work it out in my head, I need to say an 800 deep pad footing. So if I take 800 off 85,095, I get a level of 84,295. Click apply on that, click a point, and I get a pad footing put in there at the correct levels. Next step would be to model a column. So I double click on the column properties, I go on position tab, and again I've got to define levels. So I'm going to start at the bottom at 85,095, and I'm going to take the top level up to that top grid, so it'll be 92,995. Okay on that, and click a point, and that's model a column. I'd then progress on and model in the base plate connection and the cap plate if required, and continue on modeling all the other pad footings, columns and base plates and such. To speed up the process though, I've got this custom component that will do all that in one click. If I look at the component, it's quite simple, quite straightforward. I've got options to turn a cap plate on and off, turn a pad footing on and off, and I can nominate the column profile, cap plate component settings, base plate component settings, and then the RLs where these objects are going to be located. So if I start off, I'm going to input the RL at which our insertion point is going to be. So I'm going to say our main insertion point is going to be at the level of 85,495. I'm going to put the top of footing level at 400 below that. So again, it's 85,095. The footing depth is 800, so I don't have to calculate what that depth is. I'm going to add a footing profile of 1200 by 1200. And of course turn on the footing. The column, the top of the column level, I'm going to nominate as 92,995, and I'm going to leave the column for now as a UC 31097. Click OK on that, and I'll work on grid A here, and I'll click that point, the insertion point of 85,495. In goes the column assembly. If I look at modifying that, I can come in here, turn a cap plate on if I like, and hit modify. If I zoom in, we can see there's cap plate added. Zoom back out again. I can modify these levels on the fly, so change that level to 85,995 instead. Hit modify, and that'll bring the cap plate down to that level there. Change the depth of the pad footing to 1,000, and so forth. The idea of the component was mainly just to model the pad footing, the column, base plate and cap plate quickly. There's not a lot of control over the base plate or the cap plate properties, but what I've allowed is for you to define any pre-saved settings you might have in the base plate component 1004 or the cap plate component. To show you how that works, if I zoom in, spin that around, and if I double click on the subcomponent, it'll bring up Baseplate 1004, which is the component that's used in the inside of this custom component. If you look here, I have a few pre-saved options already, and just as an example, I might try that setting there. If I load that in just so I can copy and paste that setting value, so if I copy that, close that down, come back to the main component, and then paste that into there, and now press modify, you can see that the component properties has changed. So this allows you the freedom to go into the subcomponents and create a range or a library of pre-saved settings for each column type you want. Save those away, and then those can be called up inside of this custom component here. If we look at the cap plate, the same can be done here as well, where we could go and save away a pre-saved set of components there. So it could set, say, a 20 thick. Save that away as 20 thick cap plate. And then if I copy that and come back to the main component again and paste that into here and hit modify, I now get a 20 thick cap plate. All the settings for the first component set up. It's a case of now just saying OK on that, zooming out, and now working around the building, putting in all the columns where you need them to go with their pad footings, and then making any adjustments you need in the RLs as required. So I hope you find the component useful. If you are interested in purchasing the component, please go to my website at www.tekconservices.com.au, or if you'd like to see this component modified slightly to suit your needs, I'm also happy to look at that.